Hey, it's Tanja, and I want to ask you an important question. How many times have you said to yourself, I can't travel? Today, we're going to talk about what I feel are the 5 top reasons why people don't travel, and we're going to take time to bust those myths. But before I get started, I want to ask each of you to subscribe to this channel, to like and comment down in the comment section. Put your questions or your ideas about these topics. And now let's move on to topic number 1, which is time. How many times have you said, I don't have the time to go on vacation? Maybe work demands or family demands are hogging up what you feel is the valuable time that you could set aside for a vacation. So, ways that you can bust this myth is first by dispelling the notion that you don't have time. We all prioritize the things that we feel are important to us. And so I want to encourage you to prioritize vacation time because it staves off burnout and it's good for your physical and your mental health. You may have limited vacation time. And unless you're retired or self employed, sometimes it can be hard to go on a vacation. But I'm going to tell you some tips and tricks later on to help you to overcome the time limitations, which are very real. Finally, you don't have to go far. You can choose to staycation or nearcation to where you live. And then, if all else fails, check out remote or virtual opportunities for employment that can help free up some time or allow you to travel as you work. So, point number 2 is fear. We all don't like the unknown. And so, vacationing can be a bit of a concern when you're not familiar with the places that you could potentially go to. You may be worried about the modes of transportation. Some people don't like to fly, others don't like the water, so they wouldn't go on a cruise. And I just want to encourage you to give travel, the method of travel, just one try. You may find out that it's not as bad as you think. So you may also feel like you're unfamiliar with the destination that you may have in mind. Maybe you're traveling to a far off country, or you may be traveling by yourself and you're concerned about safety. So, one of the things that I like to do is to get on to social media and find groups that are like people like you. Like, I'm a Black woman and I'm married and we like to travel internationally. So, find a group that meets your needs, whether you're exploring a particular country or a particular way of traveling. There are groups out there that specialize in that type of travel. And you can get all of the tips and the tricks and ask questions and get really helpful answers. So you don't have to learn everything new or reinvent the wheel. There's people out there that can help you to get the information that you need. And then finally, from a safety aspect, maybe you've heard a lot of things in the news or the media about a particular destination, and you're wondering if it's safe for you. And there's resources out there where you can figure out the safety crime levels of certain cities and countries as a whole. But you can also speak to people who are actually boots on the ground. There are expat communities where you can reach out to people who actually live in those places. And they are so welcoming and so warming to give you the information that you need. Third, you may be telling yourself that you don't want to travel with your travel companions, or you would like to have more people to travel with. Travel with people can be difficult, whether they're your friends or your family. And so there are opportunities out there if you're wanting to get away from all the other people, just go by yourself. There are industries that specialize in what is called solo travel. And just because you're an introvert doesn't mean that you can't travel. There are group events where you have a travel agency that books all of the things and have guides that are there to help you along the way. They build out your itinerary, they get you from point A to point B. And if you're concerned about traveling by yourself, Know that a lot of industries are setting up opportunities to help people who are traveling solo to connect and to do group activities. So you can be alone when you want to be alone, and you can be with others when you want to be with others. Secondly, and I've been here myself, I know that we think about, well, I'm traveling with children. And that can be a challenge sometimes because there are destinations where it's easier or more family friendly for you to travel as a family unit. You have to keep things in mind like what activities are there available for the children so that they can be entertained and not really hate their vacation. You also have to keep in mind the food that is to be eaten so that the kids don't starve basically and complain about what kids are typically finicky about. And then you think about groups. Have you ever tried, and I know it's difficult for those of you who have tried, to do big family or friend group trips? It can be hard, but when you are able to do it and spend that time with the people that you know, like, and love, it can truly be a blast. And for that, I oftentimes recommend that you use a travel agent. So let's dispel the notion of you not having or having too many travel companions. So, fourth, you may be thinking about the planning aspects of travel. And yes, I would be the first one to admit to you that traveling can be labor intensive. There's a lot to go into it, considering where you're going to go. And if you're going internationally, visa requirements and other travel requirements, vaccines, and those things. Finding affordable transportation, flights and trains and planes and buses, car rentals, you name it. And then actually just deciding where in the world you want to go. All of those things can be overwhelming. And for those that don't like to do the research, you have people like my family that we specialize in travel. There are a plethora of prearranged vacation ideas that are out there that you can search and find for yourself. And then, you could just be spontaneous and not really get tied down in the minutia of vacationing, because sometimes that can steal the joy out of vacation. Taking the time to feel that you have to plan every single moment of the vacation. Just sit back and relax and allow what happens to happen. So, planning, you have options. Hire someone to do it for you. Take it as it comes, or do all of the research yourself. Those are your options. Now, the fifth and final point that I'll bring up today is cost. And this is a very real issue. I'm not going to stand here and pretend to tell you that vacationing is the cheapest thing ever. However, it can be more affordable than you think. And the number one reason I think that you can make travel more affordable is to either plan well in advance of when you are wanting to take your particular vacation, or being highly flexible, because we know that when flights come out early or cruises come out earlier, those are typically the least expensive times. But then on the back end, as you get closer to dates, if the ships aren't full or the planes aren't full, you'll see sales that go on for different vacations and modes of travel. So having either flexibility or planning well in advance will be key. So one helpful hint for when you're planning in advance, make sure that you make your plans refundable. And this allows you to be able to go in and to cancel and rebook if you see your desired vacation for a lower cost. Second, I would say staycations. Many of us do not take the time to get to know the towns and the cities and the states that surround where we live. And some of the most affordable ways of vacationing is to take a staycation or a daycation, where you just go to different points that are within a drive's distance from your home. Find the historical landmarks, the amusement parks, restaurants, beaches, any of those things that could be great ideas for you and your family. Secondly, third, you can find referrals. Like if you know someone that has been to a particular place or traveled on a particular cruise, oftentimes those entities will offer referral incentives where your friend could refer you and you would get some credits and they would get some credits. And so that's a great way to counter some of the expensive travel. Then, fourth, and this is kind of a sticky proposition, but it really works. And so I'm going to say if you are really disciplined with credit cards, travel points and reward cards are fantastic, whether they're hotel cards or whether they're credit cards that you use to pay your bills and then pay off each month. Then you're able to accumulate points that you could use for flights and hotels and other things that really can offset the cost of travel, especially because you're using your credit card to pay the things that you would have to pay anyway from month to month, and then you're paying them off in full at the end of the month. And then finally, I would say look for search websites and discount websites. You know your Expedias and those type of sites, but I'm talking about your Google Flights which helps you to search Cruise Critic or Cruise Plum, which helps you to search for various cruise discounts and be able to track, just like in Google Flights, the cost as it rises and it drops until you find that sweet price or that special deal that you want to take advantage of. So, these are the top 5 reasons that I feel that people do not vacation and ways that you can overcome it. So, again, I'm going to ask you to subscribe to this channel. Down in the comments, write your questions or any ideas about reasons that keep you from traveling. And I want to encourage you to come back to the channel for more ideas about travel, both near and far. Have a great day.